All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Ba'ashem Kodash, the blessed to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom to the elect which in this word in truth and in sincerity. With the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh is the name of his only begotten Son. We so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the charagma written about in Revelation 13 verse 16 and down, which is the MOTB. The miracle drug is the precursor to the charagma. Yahweh Shai, whom dwell ignorantly called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. So I want to go straight into this lesson dealing with persecution, because this is the time that we're in, because one of the signs of the time of persecution is this word being preached into all the world. And this word have been preached into all the world via the internet, and that is how brothers out here in Jamaica get wind of the truth from the elders and apostles, putting out videos continually. And the Lord make our spirit to see these videos on these various platforms and come to the understanding of who we are, who's our God, who's our power, and understand how to move in these times. And this has an effect on the state of our people, isn't it? And Esau don't like what he's seeing, because this is our warfare, This is how the Lord prepare us for this battle that we got to endure. That's why I said the weapon of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So Esau have various things they use to go against this truth, and to implement new laws and legislation. Him not go outright say he might come for the Hebrew Israelites, but he might go use various things and various methods to bring certain legislation across. So just listen to this.
Well, recently we learned that the FBI is spying on Catholics by infiltrating their parishes, seeking out people they consider to be radical traditionalists, people they view could become terrorists, domestic terrorists here in the United States. One of the people who blew the whistle on this is former FBI agent Kyle Seraphin, who is with us now to take us further into this, who recently received a letter from the FBI saying, be quiet about this, Kyle. Welcome to the show. You're not following orders.
It turns out I'm...
Alright, so you hear him come out right now as a whistleblower. As scripture say, I'm going to make them own tongue to fall upon themselves. Esau infiltrate every organization around the world that you can think of, Even the camps here, brothers always talk about agents. But due to the mere fact that our faith is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we care zero, because we know the times that we're in. And that's why when I take a look at some of these camps and how them behave and how them bring themselves, you understand, so they are being led by a totally different spirit, because Esau have infiltrate, what do they call that word? Penetrate majority of the camps, Let's continue listening.
Not good at following orders when I stop working there. That's correct.
Yeah, so you were one of the people who blew the whistle on this, that there is the FBI infiltrating the Catholic Church. This then spurred an investigation by Jim Jordan and the House Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. They then uncovered these documents, apparently, that from the FBI that show, yes, in fact, there is spying that's going on in the Catholic Church. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So the initial document we showed was a request by an intelligence analyst to recruit sources within the church. And then when Jim Jordan's committee looked into it, it sounds like, and this is what we've been told from his letters to Chris Wray, that they were actually able to determine that there was in fact an undercover FBI employee involved in looking into some of these parishes in the Richmond field office area of responsibility.
Why were they looking at Catholics? What about Catholics that they felt like, okay, we've got to go in there, we've got to check this out, domestic terrorists are just running rampant in the place? Or were they just looking for one in particular?
It's really hard to say. So there may be some personal politics involved in this. The analyst who wrote the original document and is very proud to note that it's the first of its kind. If you actually read the original source documents, and they're posted at uncoverdc.com, so people can go and actually read the documents that I exposed there. But when it sounds like this guy was a recent graduate of Georgetown University, which is a Catholic university with a kind of a liberal bent, and possibly didn't like the sort of traditional bend that some of these parishes have. And there's a number of them in the Richmond area that kind of fit the bill. So this lineup is essentially making the accusation that people who are quote unquote radical traditionalist Catholics, those are people who have a specific feeling about abortion, about LGBTQIA plus rights, and have a specific feeling about, immigration and the border. It turns out a lot of those things are going to be very mainline beliefs. It has nothing to do with whether you like the Latin Mass or not. So it is kind of a funny little carve out. It's kind of my assumption, or I'm kind of working on the analysis that when you start carving off individual factions of a group, when you start factionalizing or balkanizing these types of groups, you say, well, these aren't regular Catholics. These are radical Catholics. Then people go, oh, well, they're radicals. Like, that's okay to go after them. But I honestly think it was just kind of an attempt to get into mainline, not just Catholicism, but Christianity, because these beliefs are shared across a lot of Christians. It's not specific to the Catholic Church or any particular part of the Catholic.
All right, so as you can see, the underline is people were against the world where them desire, the folly where them want push on society. So them use certain buzzwords to describe the people them, like radical, extremists. You see me? Terrorists. Because they don't have the same lewd mentality as the leaders and as those that follow them, believing in LGBT, you see me, gender fluidity, you see me, a child can choose his own gender, you see me, and all these madness, which is not profitable, and that's why them all come against the scriptures so much, just as in the time of Maccabees, when Antiochus Epiphanes was ruling. What did he do? Outlawed the Bible, the book of the law. And believe me, there's coming a time in which the Bible is going to be outlawed, because according to this world, the Bible has some very extreme views, The scripture tells it very clearly, say, a man shall not wear what pertaineth unto a woman, and vice versa, a woman shall not wear what pertaineth unto a man. It's abomination, The Lord tell you what the judgment for those that lay with mankind as he would with a woman, These things are extreme to the world. Because, as I say, them have various ways how them bring certain things across. Them use gradualism, So they may be very subtle with it, but you're not gonna pay attention to what they really are doing. So let's jump into the scripts. This is Matthew 24 verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Why are we going to be hated by all nations, That is the question you're supposed to ask. Because of the words that Yahweh Shemashah put within our mouth to declare, Because iniquity is going to surpass the things them that you have seen growing up, yo. Even now. It is written in Matthew 24, verse 12, say, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, yo. When you think gonna say nothing yet, yo, wait till these people start go all out concerning certain lifestyle, yo. Right now, them can't even define a man and a woman anymore. Just think about these simple things, yo. These things are being debated on. Jump into verse 14. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. That's why all these nations are going to hate us, yo. Mainly those that are ruled by Esau, Edom, because they are the one pushing this agenda around the world. When you go to Revelation 2 verse 10, read, fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that he may be tried, and he shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And that is the mindset we're supposed to have right now, yo. Building up that fortitude, yo. You see me? As is written in 1 Peter's. That's why in Ephesians it tells us, yo, put on the whole armor of God, yo. Because without the armor of God, they're going to crumble in the times to come. This is 1 Peter 4 verse 1. For as much then as a Mashiach had suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourself likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of God. And this is the mindset we are going to need to endure. Because as I give the example in Maccabees, let me bring it out. These are the times that's coming once more. This is 1 Maccabees 1 verse 57. It says, no, I'm going to start at verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any the book of the testimony, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandments was that they should be put, that they should put him to death. And these are the times coming back upon the earth, yo, because they're going to outlaw the scriptures. That's why I say, because a sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the Son of Man is fully setting them to do evil, yo. The scripture also saying, Habakkuk 1 verse 4 said, the laws are slack, and judgment do it never go forth, for the wicked do it compass about the righteous. These are the times that we're living in, yo. And the wicked are the ones making laws. That's why them going to the landmass of Amwar there, which they refer to as Africa, telling the people how to live their lives, yo, wanting them to consent unto the LGB way of life. And the Africans leaders tell them, say, no, we're not going to do what you're asking us to do. And these are the times that we're in, yo, in which you're going to see many more folly taking place, yo. Scripture says folly is set in great dignity. And the reason why folly is set in great dignity is because of the rulers, yo. So that was something that came to my mind, and I just do want to bring out some precept on that, showing you that, amen, persecution is coming now. Prepare thy mind. So what I want to say, Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akar Kodash. Shalom.